to A&M Reviews. It's Muhammad and Adrian, and today we're going to review the film Mufasa. And this film stars Aaron Pierre as Mufasa, Kelvin Harrison Jr. as Taka, Tiffany Boone as Sarabi, Kagiso Ladiga as young Rafiki, Preston Nyman as Zazu, Blue Ivy Carter as Kiara. Didn't realize that.
hmm
Um, John Connie as Rafiki, Seth Rogen as Pumbaa, Billy, I don't know how to say his last name, as Timon.
I think.
Yeah, something like that. I didn't want to butcher it, but that's pretty much the main cast there. But this film is about lost and alone, orphaned cub Mufasa meets a sympathetic lion named Taka, the heir to a royal bloodline. The chance meeting sets in motion an expansive journey of an extraordinary group of misfits searching for their destinies. So, what did you get from the film Mufasa, the Lion King?
So it was a good movie nobody asked for. I mean, I don't know where the market was for a prequel, but I'm sure Disney set our pockets, so that's fine. Um, it it was like watching National Geographic with the musical piece in it. Um, I appreciate that it didn't have too much musicals. Um, and about halfway through, when you're piecing together the kingdom and oh, that's that person. It's interesting, but nothing groundbreaking.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. I mean, at least they brought something kind of new to the table. This is a new story. The last one that they did like this was pretty much just a retelling of a story that has been beloved for many years, and you're just never just going to get that same magic again. So I do appreciate them having something, I guess, kind of new. But um, I thought it was nice to see. Definitely didn't ask for this.
Yeah.
I mean, even after watching it, yes, fine. You do get some connecting pieces with what Mufasa's story was before, you know, they had the whole pride and everything.
Right.
But I felt like they could have just had just him, like just a story about him. Um, I mean, we do get pretty much, in some ways, this is like a sequel to um,
Yes.
The Lion King 2.
Right.
Uh, but it really added nothing to the story. It kind of just had breaks in between, just them showing up. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Um, I didn't really think that was necessary. I felt like they just could have just had just Mufasa's story.
Yeah, they could have just defined the story. Um, I feel like they must have had Donald Glover record for maybe like 10 minutes, and that's his whole contribution. Same thing with Beyonce, maybe 5 minutes in the studio. Um,
That's with like practice, like where they have to have
right,
multiple recordings.
right,
Because she,
right,
I mean, I didn't even mention her because that's how little she's in this movie.
right.
Screen
Um,
time maybe 30 seconds.
yeah. Which is fine. Give the new cast um their time, but yeah, it didn't need to have the whole story piece. It could have just, like you said, been just Mufasa's story, watching it that way. I don't think it was bad because of that at all, but it's one way to do it. They kind of felt like they were trying to do the Lion King 1.5 thing a little bit with Pumbaa and Timon. They had the one made up scene where they kind of retold the ending as if Pumbaa and Timon saved the day. That was confusing to watch because of the CGI. It looks so realistic. Flashbacks and made up stories don't even make sense. Yeah.
Yeah, because you would think it would kind of be like dreamlike, like they have, I don't know, looks kind of cloudy,
I don't know. Some things just translate better in cartoon.
but
It
it's
was
not
just
cartoon.
right. It was just weird. Like it looked just as serious, but it was made up. And I don't know. That's the only thing that felt kind of weird to me for sure.
Yeah, most definitely. And I think they just wanted to have Timon and Pumbaa in this. Because I mean, Kiara really doesn't bring anything to the table with this. Rafiki, he's kind of telling the story, but still nothing new on that end. It's just them listening to the story that Rafiki is telling them about Mufasa. Um, but
Yeah. I think my
oh
favorite character throughout this was Rafiki. I mean, he's just he's kind of cool in his approach in every one of the Lion King movies.
yeah,
But in this one particularly, I felt like young Rafiki kind of stole the movie at that point. It's like I'm just he's more spiritual and all knowing and than I think we've ever seen before, which is interesting how connected he is. Um, and the one point where he said there can't be a Mufasa story without a Rafiki story. I want to see more Rafiki story. That Council of Baboons is kind of cool. Where is
well,
that? Planet of the Apes.
it sounds nice, but whenever you actually have it, it's like, did we actually need this? I think it's one of those.
Yeah, it could be. Well, we could have had like a TV, a mini series on Disney Plus with each of
Yeah,
their backgrounds, maybe.
okay, that's fine. One
Yeah,
episode per person or per character.
Rafiki, Sarabi, Mufasa,
Yeah, that
Taka.
that works. Like a limited
Yeah,
series,
right.
kind of expand. And if there's a demand, like people are asking more for that character, that specific one, okay, maybe you make it into something bigger. But
Right.
I think that's doable. Um, Nothing that's really major that they should have to spend a whole bunch of money on. But hey,
I don't know. These computer graphics working pretty hard to make Dusty Lions distinguishable.
yeah, I mean,
And
you don't think they
Biscuit.
improved on the faces, like the emotions that the characters bring?
I didn't see improvements necessarily, but it's just so good it's boring. That's just the problem.
So you think it should be a little bit more animated as far as like their expressions, like it
I
shouldn't be
think
just realistic.
it just shouldn't exist. I think that's what it is. It just shouldn't exist because I don't want to see like a Pixar version. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see the cartoon. Or
Oh, it's
maybe I
coming.
do. Maybe I wanted to see the cartoon version instead of this. I don't know. Either way, it's just a weird concept. A live action, non-live action movie is still weird. Years later.
Well, they're gonna keep coming with the live actions because they have plenty of Disney bangers in the vault that they want to turn into live action. Um, and I mean, we've
But
already
it
have
used to
plenty of them.
be, but it used to be that it made sense. Like 101 Dalmatians live action, great. Those are great movies
Well,
because it
nobody
made
made a big deal
sense.
out of those back then. Like
And it
it.
was also real dogs because it just made sense. We don't need CGI everything.
Well, I mean, with this, you definitely do. I mean, how are you gonna
That's why it
make
shouldn't
this work?
exist. That's why it shouldn't exist.
Yeah, but they want to try to keep printing money. But so far, or at least the last 2 to 3 years, that hasn't really worked out for them. Disney as a whole. I mean, they've had some hits, but not as many hits as they used to have. Like making
Yeah,
$1 billion, like in every other movie.
right.
Um, it's just not happening anymore. It could be for
Yeah.
multiple reasons. I don't know. Um, but I don't think this had like some of the criticisms that some people might say as far as it being woke or whatever it is. I don't know.
No,
Um,
because a bunch of animals, literally. Um,
yeah, nothing like that. But I mean, it's fine. Nothing that I really needed. I thought it was pretty interesting the dynamic that we get with the two brothers, and I don't know why I just didn't catch on early on, but it is Scar and then Mufasa. But
you didn't
you
tell
know,
he was a little bit ashy?
at
That
first I
was the
couldn't tell the
cue.
difference. I'm like, who's who? Like, especially when they were like literally little.
Right,
I was
right.
like, I don't know who's who.
Yeah,
That one did have like a little off color, but still, I'm just like,
right.
I don't know who's who.
You know what? I used to watch this show on Animal Planet, called Meerkat Manor. This show called Manor, and it was literally a documentary about um, meerkats in the prairie land, and you follow this dynasty. You can see insiders coming in and out, and but it's real, and it's just meerkats running around in the dirt digging holes, and it was interesting. It was almost like a drama. Um, that was more interesting than this
Oof!
because it was
Wow.
real. And well, no, it's because this is trying to be that by being animated and so close to real. But at this point, just show me the real thing. Give me Tom Hanks following around a lion in Africa, and let's just watch that.
So you want a narration?
It's just a documentary. If we're going to see lions, it'll be real.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, that doesn't really interest me. I mean, maybe that's why I wasn't like, in love with this. But also, it's just
Yeah,
like, leave it alone. I mean, we already have had plenty of Lion Kings. It's one of the most loved movies ever. So just try to find something else. I mean, even if they
yeah,
want to build on the Lion Guard, whatever that is. Um,
yeah. They could do that. They could pick up from the Lion King too. Um, that's
well, that
still
kind
out
of was
there.
this, except
Well,
they
no,
were
but
looking back.
it was a cartoon Lion King too.
Yeah,
They
like you
actually
mean the
made it
movie?
straight to DVD. Yeah, or
Yeah,
straight to VHS. Um,
this was
what was
that,
it?
but they were still looking back though.
They look back at that. I thought they went forward. I thought it was about
Well, I
Simba's
meant,
kids.
yeah, it was Simba's kids in this, like Kiara,
Yeah.
but I'm pretty sure this takes place after that movie, but they're looking back at Mufasa's story.
Oh yeah, I'm saying they should just if at this point they should just make Lion King 2 the next one, the next CGI real type movie.
Or just leave this alone because
I mean, they
I
should have done that. They should have did that from the start. But I know someone is like, we should just do that.
well,
One more
one more. Oh, yeah, they probably will.
for the
I was
trilogy.
I was I was thinking that this didn't make a whole bunch of money, but it's made over $700 million. So yeah, another one's
It's an
coming.
easy one to go. It's an easy one to go watch. I mean, it's Disney. It's the Lion King. It's hard to mess up. Yeah. So,
Yeah, I mean, the first one made over $1 billion, um, but that it kind of was a different time. Disney was just making so much money; it didn't matter what they put out there. But now it's not like that. But
what year was that? That was
I think it was
2019.
2019.
Oh.
Yeah, pre-pandemic is a different time. But yeah, with the money that it's made so far with Mufasa, they're definitely going to give it another chance. Like if it made like $200 million, then it probably ended right there. But at 700 million, I think they're definitely going to give it a green light.
Easy money.
Easy money. Yeah. Well, they got to make up for all those other things that are just bombing, so they might be breaking even all the way around.
Yeah.
But I guess we can get into some of the story. Um, so we start with pretty much a little bit of the story after Lion King 2, Simba's Pride, where he has a daughter named Kiara. Um, he had the daughter with Nala, who's being played by Beyonce. She might have maybe 10 to 15 words in the movie total, maybe 30 seconds of screen time. I mean, Simba didn't say too much either, but you know, they're just going around and they want Pumbaa and Timon to take care of Kiara and don't I think tell her stories or something like that. But then Rafiki comes in and starts telling a story of her grandfather, Mufasa. And Mufasa was the father of Simba. And of course, we all know the story. He got thrown off the cliff by his brother Scar. He said, "Long live the king," and threw him off. But we're getting that story before it came to that point. And Mufasa, his story starts out just like Simba. Really, it almost follows the same exact story. He's
Hmm.
lived anointed as the chosen one. He's going to be the king of the pride at some point, but then he gets separated from his mother and father because of some type of flood that comes through, and the dam breaks, and he gets separated and lost, and he's not able to find himself or find a way to go back home. Because he was really young at this point. He was still a cub. But he comes along this other lion pride who is not really accepting, or at least the leader, the king of this pride, that he's not really accepting. I guess he's run into a lot of what they call strays who have not been, I guess, trustworthy. And I guess tradition is to eat them. And I guess they eat their own. So,
And that is real.
okay, I didn't know that.
It's not even uncommon for a lion to eat their own kids.
Oh,
Um, just
what?
because, yeah, the male
Just
lion is so
because?
separate. Just because. Um, Sometimes there's something wrong with it, sometimes there's not. But um, usually there's one male lion with a number of female lions, and his the sole purpose. It's funny they kind of touched on this with how lazy the king was,
Yeah.
Taka's father, but really in the wild they fight a little bit male lions, but most of the work, the hunting, keeping people safe, all that kind of stuff, is the lioness, that whole group. And the male lion is just there to make sure there's other lions be born. But that's really it. And then
So,
an outsider comes in, can challenge that lion for the females. And if he wins, he will, that particularly if the outside lion wins, he will eat all the children of the previous male lion's lineage and then have
hmm,
his own lions with those lionesses.
wow.
Yeah.
So, so really, it's just like the the male lion does all the work in the beginning, to fight for the throne,
Right.
and then he can just chill and just,
Exactly.
get it in.
Exactly. That is on it. Really, that's almost his sole purpose. Really.
I mean, I guess it's a good life until you're challenged,
And so
and then you got to
then you
actually
got to be
get up
ready to
and work.
fight. You got to be ready to fight at all times.
For,
Um,
I mean, laying down ain't gonna have you trained, but
right. Exactly right.
it might catch you lacking, you know.
Right. I'm telling you, it was very much documentaries that I've watched in the past, a little musical added in. Now, I've
Wow.
never seen a group of ashy lions, albino lions. I've never seen that before. But some of the stuff, yeah, makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, I thought that part was funny. He was like, do like me, son. I'll teach you the way. And he's just laying down and just chilling.
Right.
But yeah, I forgot his name, but the the leader of this pride that Simba or Mufasa comes along. Of course, he doesn't like him. He's like, get him out of here. I'm gonna eat him. But one of the ladies of the pride, the lionesses, she her name is Ruth, I think. Oh, sorry, looking at the wrong thing. That's not right.
That's not Ruth. I can't remember what it was, but I'm like, I don't know Ruth.
No, that's definitely wrong. I'm looking at the wrong movie.
Hmm.
Let me see. I can find her name real quick. Is it Esh?
Oh, Eshe,
Eshe? Okay.
I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, she takes a liking to some of the strays that come along, and she takes a liking to Mufasa and wants to make sure that he's okay. But in order for him to stay, he must, kind of win this challenge against the son of the Lion King in that pride, and his name is Taka, which later on becomes Scar, and they race, and Taka actually lets up a little bit to let Mufasa win because his father was kind of dirty, tripped him up in the beginning. But he wins the race. He's able to stay, but he has to stay with the lionesses. So he can't still stay with the male lions because you know he thinks he's not worthy of that. So
Right.
just stay over there. You can stay alive. Um, but through this, Mufasa gains a lot of tracking skills and being able to you know track if there's prey or any danger from a distance. So, like you said, the lionesses do most of the work with getting food and stuff like that. So he's learning all that stuff. But he really does want to kind of be with some of the males. He doesn't
Hmm.
exactly want to be the king, but you know he wants to hang with his brother because they become brothers, Taka and Mufasa. Um, but in this, there's just a random attack with some white lions. He called them ashy.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, so some white ashy lions that they say they're pretty tough and pretty big, but they pretty much look the same size as the rest of them. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe the lead lion, maybe he was pretty big with his mane, but outside of that, they look the same size to me. Um, but Mufasa is actually able to save Eshe, um, and she's really thankful for it. And also, Taka was there whenever they attacked, but
Mm.
he kind of hid and kind of like a coward. And his father shunned him because he's like, you supposed to step up into your role, like you're supposed to be
Right.
king one day, and you out here just hiding behind the bushes or something.
Mm.
So he was very disappointed, and I think this was kind of like the turning point a little bit whenever Taka kind of felt a little slighted. Maybe he
Yeah.
felt like Mufasa might have been like, oh, now more of the attention is being focused on him.
Hmm.
Um, Even though Mufasa didn't actually want the throne or anything like that, um, you know, more of the attention started to shift towards him. But the Ashy Lion Pride, they continue to, you know, push their way through all of the Pride lands, and they the lead lion in that he wants to become the all leader, like the leader of everything. So he's trying to take out all these other threats. Um, and he ends up getting towards where Mufasa and all the rest of them are, and they have to flee. Um, Taka's father ends up dying. They kind of go across a lot of different places. They lose them in this snowy mountain area that Mufasa was really clever in covering their tracks and everything, and he's able to meet um, Sarabi through this. Now, I can't even remember, like, how did she even come about in this? Because she
She
wasn't
was
part of that
just
pride, was she?
no, she was just wandering, and there was one line Rafiki said to her, like, "Seems like and a king that's been lost," or something like that. She said, "How'd you know?" So it seems like she might have been a part of a pride, and her king, presumably her father, was killed. Because she's a princess. So, um, I guess she was running after her pride had been taken over.
But also a little bit later, whenever um, Sarabi kind of takes a liking to Mufasa, Taka he gets pretty jealous, almost saying like, yeah, "She's supposed to be mine." So I don't,
Hmm.
I'm not sure why he thought that he deserved her.
It's all in his head. It's like you're in love with her. Whoa, you never even talked to her. What are you doing?
You only known him for like less than a day. So
Right.
yeah, I didn't get that. I didn't. I mean, I know he didn't have too many wins in this whole thing, but I mean, to get so attached, I didn't see why he turned like that. But that was very crucial in this.
Yep.
I think that was the last straw because
Right.
then he
And then
turned
when
his
he
back
went,
on him.
when he turned his back on him, he had to sound like Steve um all of a sudden take a little accent. That's how we know he turned.
Yeah, um, he turned his back on him, started working with the ashy white lions, and told them how to find them. And I didn't really mention Rafiki in this, but they kind of just show a little bit of him talking with his I don't know what to call them, other group of monkeys.
I think they were baboons, but he kept saying he's something else or vice versa.
But don't they have like a certain color? Like the other monkeys didn't have that color, like a almost
Right.
like
So I
a
think
rainbow.
he was different. I'm gonna look it up. What kind of monkey was he? I mean,
Yeah, I mean he stuck out. He was kind of like an outcast.
right. Um, Rafiki, a mandrill. That's right. So he was with the baboons, but he's actually a mandrill.
Okay. Yeah. But I guess he always thought that he was destined to do something great, and he was following his dreams,
Yeah.
looking for the brother from another mother, a lion. He was still very confident, and also, very wise for somebody who really hasn't like his dreams had never come true. He had that
Right.
faith of a mustard seed, because ain't nothing come to fruition at that point.
Right.
But yeah, he's just looking for the promised land. They call it I think Malele, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Um, and he's just strolling along, and I guess this is before Taka turns his back on them, but they were really hungry, and they were looking like, okay, yeah, we need to find something. So they see this monkey and like, okay, yeah, we going, he's dinner. But Rafiki's pretty confident that they're not going to eat him because he knows where to go to get to the promised land, Malele, and that's where Mufasa wants to go. He thinks this may lead him back to his family that have missed him and everything. And Sarabi is also pushing that. So um, Rafiki is able to talk his way into that and lead them on their way. And in that, the ashy white lions catch up to them. They have a big brawl at the end. Um, Taka has a change of heart and fights off the big white lion, the leader of that, and Mufasa is able to take over the kingdom. Now the Pride lands with all the other animals that come together, almost like a melting pot, and
Mm-hmm.
you know they pretty much live happily ever after. I mean, we know what the story is after this.
Right.
Um, Taka turns into Scar. He got the scar from the other lion, and he's like, I'll make it up to you by I can't remember his exact words, but he's like, I want to still be here, but I won't challenge you for the throne or anything. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna know my role, stay in my lane for now. I guess until you start working with those hyenas,
Right.
they should have shown up in some way.
There was like two hyenas in the background, in not in an evil way, but just there. Um, whenever the group first gets to the promised land, essentially. But yeah, they weren't really characters in this.
No, I mean, could have used some of them. I mean, I know people really like Timon and Pumbaa, but I didn't really think they added too much to this. I mean, we did have Zazu. Um, he was in it for a second.
Right. It had some good parts, I think.
Yeah. Um, I think I definitely like him the most in the cartoon. I don't think he did anything in the last two movies like this.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't like an active part of the story, moving things along like this. More so, just I guess in the way in the first Lion King, but funny. Um, and his conversation with Scar at the beginning of the movie, pretty funny. But this one, he had a little bit of more active role.
Yeah. Um, Trying to see whether anybody else that was a main character that got some screen time. Um, I mean, not really. I mean, uh,
No, it follows a pretty tight knit cast.
yeah, for the most part, outside of them just looking back like Rafiki telling the story of Mufasa. Um, and then we find out at the end that uh, Kiara has a brother. Maybe maybe that's what the parents went off to go take care of whenever they were gone. I mean, who knows
So
how long they
that's
were gone?
so that's what I thought at first, but they did say at the end it was a birthing place, so they were going to
Oh,
give birth. But they were
oh.
they. I don't know why they didn't say at the beginning. They could have said that in the beginning, but it wasn't till the end. I think Rafiki had said something about birthing lambs or something like that.
Simba was doing what they do in real life.
Right.
He's
I mean, they have. I mean, the male lions have like 20 kids. Not many of them survive. Um,
or
because
you
if
got to
they're
get all the lionesses. So,
right, you had all of them at the same time,
oh,
and they're the same age. I mean, they all just have them all at the same time. And the males that kick out very young. Um,
go survive on your own.
Really, when they're like preteen age, they just kick them out. Um, it's rare that you have a male lion who's an adult who stays with another male lion. Um, because the son could take over the pride. Um, but if the father's young enough, he'll fight him anyway. Um,
There
and
can
all
only
the
be one
females
lazy
stay.
lion around here.
Pretty much. Pretty much. You might have one or two, but usually they're by themselves.
Yeah.
And that is how
I,
the pride works.
well, I guess in some ways they have it. I guess nice for some time until they're challenged, but just sitting around and then chilling and then
Right.
doing whatever. It'll only last for so long before some young
Exactly.
lion
Because they're
challenges
not
the throne.
getting they're not doing a lot of stuff to keep themselves up. That lion that took over the pride, I mean, not the same lion. It's just laying around. I mean, they'll go and hunt sometimes, but usually the female lions will go and round it up, get it done, then bring in the male lion at the very end.
To get to work behind the scenes.
Well, yeah. Well, so about eating, but
Yeah, um, I can see them getting pretty fat and lazy.
yeah,
Well, they
there's
probably. I
not
mean,
many animals like that have that kind of setup. I guess sometimes
I don't think they can have a
cattle.
setup like that.
Well, I think
Like,
it's like deer, um, elephants are this way, actually.
oh,
With elephants, the male doesn't stay though. The female elephants are usually when you see videos or groups of elephants walking together, usually it's all female groups and children. And the male lions are off, or male elephants are off by themselves, not in a group at all, just loners, um,
wow.
essentially. Yeah.
So
Mhm.
wow, they get the opposite effect.
Yeah, they just go.
Yeah, you can't stay
Hmm.
here. Get out of here.
Right. When they're around
We
teenagers
we got your seed.
status, they get
Leave.
kicked out. Yep. Because
We
they
got what
get
we needed.
violent.
Get out of here.
They get violent if they stay around. So nope.
So the ones that we would see in the zoo, those would mostly be females, the bigger ones.
It's my elephants.
Yeah.
A lot of times, definitely more female than male. So if there are females, maybe two females and one male.
Okay. I gotcha.
Usually there's not more than one, but just depends.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be around when one of those things get aggressive.
Right. And they're I mean, they're so almost domesticated at that point. Do they even have tusks? You know,
I mean, I don't think they need a tusk to,
I mean,
stomp
yeah,
somebody.
yeah, they can damage us pretty good.
I mean, I don't know how strong that trunk is. I mean, I wonder if like, you just swing that thing, like how hard of a hit would that be?
I don't know because it's all muscle. They have control
Oh,
of it all.
oh, yeah, that's probably a big punch.
Yeah,
Like you probably like one swing break a lot of bones,
yeah.
just as they wind up.
Throw you back
Yeah,
out,
turn you into Jello. I mean, I don't.
or they
I
could just pick you up and squeeze you,
don't oof.
throw you.
Well, I mean, how fast are they? I mean, how fast are they
I-
going to be able to catch up?
Well, actually, I mean, they're a lot faster than people if they're running.
I'm not going to say I want to see one run, but I haven't seen one
Oh,
run.
it's there's I think they can get to like 20, 30 miles per hour.
Ooh,
It's
okay,
rare
yeah.
they do it. Let me look that up. How fast? Let's see. How fast?
I mean, which one would you rather go against, a bear or an elephant? If you had to try to get away, I think I would
Um,
go against the elephant. I'll
elephants
try.
can
I'll try to get
African
away from that.
elephants can run 25 miles per hour.
Ooh, yeah, that's faster than a human. But I think
And
I'll
they're
choose the.
huge.
I think I'll choose the elephant over the bear when it comes to trying to get away, because the bears they can climb. I mean, elephants can't climb nothing. They're gonna break the tree. But
I guess you could probably zigzag and like get away from the elephant maybe. But a bear,
yeah,
they
you're
own you.
done. You're done. They, that thing will rip you to shreds.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and give this one a rating. So the lowest rating is trash, middle is background noise, and the highest is a banger. So how would you rate the film Mufasa, the Lion King?
I would rate it as a high background noise. I can't say it's a banger. It didn't do anything for me that way. Um, but it's watchable and you'll get the story. And when you start paying attention at the end, but oh, I know these characters. I know we're lining up. Okay, I see it. Pride Rock. I get that. Yeah, the tree. Yep. It's just a nice background situation. But if it is background, truly, you will fall asleep because it's like a documentary.
Yeah, um, this is a mid-level background noise for me. Didn't really do too much for me. Um, None of the music is very memorable. Um, it's kind of just more of the same of what that first one was, except it's a kind of new story, but still the same story with Simba because, he gets lost, meets some friends, comes back home, and is able to take the throne again. Really, that same story.
Yeah, and there's a lot of foreshadowing in this. The pause um, in Mufasa's hands. He lives in you is literally a song from the Lion King play. Um, the yeah, he's the past kings in the sky, the reflections in the water. You're scared to look at it. You're running, you lose your father in a canyon during a stampede against an ashy lion. Um, so
Actually,
they're really retelling the same story, only slightly different.
yeah, I guess they think they can just repackage the same story and make more money off of it.
And they
But
did.
yeah, they did.
And they did.
They did. Not as much as that first one, but I mean, hey,
No,
it's still a good bit.
first one
I'm not,
shot for shot, scene for scene. On purpose.
but it's still longer.
Well, they added that whole Beyonce concert in the middle. So,
Let me see.
Spirit, put your hands up. I didn't realize it was that much longer.
Yeah. Um, so they spent $200 million on the
Jeez.
Mufasa movie, and they said they need to break even around 500 million. So they've done that. I guess they made a $200 million profit. Um,
Wow.
I mean, considering how much you got to make back, I mean that's just ridiculous. You got to make 700 million. I mean, 500
Wow.
million to break even.
And computers are working hard. Hope that computer engineers are getting paid.
No, they're not. They're getting worked to the bone. I mean, you hear it all the time with animators,
Yeah.
with people who do video games, um, like with what's it called, the last Spider-Man movie with
Yeah.
Across the Spider-Verse. That I mean, they said they went through so much just trying to get that movie together, and working overtime, not getting paid, and and that's why it's probably gonna take even longer to get this next one out, even though it was
Wow.
supposed to come out last year.
Oh, wow.
There's
Yeah,
there's
that's
no
right.
release date in sight.
Wow.
So yeah, I have no doubt that they are being treated unfairly. The animators and whoever else is working on it, well, the people who aren't at the top. Um, so it's unfortunate. I guess
Right.
you never want to see somebody lose out, but I mean that's what happens in Hollywood.
Yeah.
But any other thoughts about Mufasa?
No, I mean, it's not on Disney Plus yet, surprisingly. But um, once it's there, it's definitely background. I don't know. Would you consider this a kids movie? You think kids are interested?
Um, they might be, but I feel like it can be a little scary. I mean,
Mm,
I, I mean, it has some of the same elements as the cartoon, except this is
hmm.
more realistic.
This looks real.
Yeah, I mean, when those lions start circling all like each other, I mean, they didn't really show them getting ripped apart, but I mean, you can
Right.
assume what happened.
Ooh,
So,
should they have made this rated R?
I don't think I want to see that. It's not the same people getting shot up and then lions ripping each other apart. I mean, I don't. That's not exactly the same.
I don't know. I've seen some documentaries. I wouldn't mind.
Nah, I think I'll
I mean,
pass
when
on
they
that.
killed that Ashy Lion's son, he just got pushed into a tree. I was like, he's out. Kind of weak.
Yeah, um, I remember they were like, "Watch out, Mufasa! They'll go for your neck." Um, but they, but I mean, the closest they got was kind of just like hovering over his neck. They didn't really get
Hmm.
there. But yeah, it is pretty weak. But it's PG. You got to keep it PG. You can't
Yeah,
be out here, you know, showing blood and gore and all that stuff. That's real life, but it's supposed to be a kids movie.
true. Taka's whole family died. We didn't see that on camera.
Wow. Yeah, his whole family did die.
Yeah,
Oh.
I forgot.
Wow. I mean, I can see why he is the way he is.
Gotta let some stuff go, man.
Just let it go. He lost his whole family.
He had it pretty cushy after that
He's,
point, though.
he said, I don't know Mufasa like that.
He gets to live in the promised land and just exist and not be banished. I mean,
before he came, he was pretty good too.
yeah, I don't know. He could have been a little more grateful.
Yeah, he didn't have to go and kill him at the first opportunity.
No.
But I think that does it for us at Anim Reviews. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Make sure to check out our other platforms, including YouTube, Instagram, and X, which are all linked in the description. And if you want to send us a message, click the message link to get featured on the show. And thanks for listening.